Ones I did at Black abstract dragon ones that I did at Black Ivory. Yeah. So,
but today, this is the subject of the day, your sketchbooks.
Party, and I've done loads of food and no one's turned up, so except you and on, so it's very kind of you to turn up. So.
Well, this is Emma and I all over.
Yeah.
We do a gig, no one turns up.
Yeah.
Our gigs, our band
I
practices.
think it may be because it jinx, because it's Friday the 13th, so yeah, so I have to have loads of food and stuff.
Emma, you're telling me each of these takes half an hour each?
About half an hour. I'd give it half an hour to do each one.
They're brilliant.
They're sitting in the park, just down the road. Yeah, they're sitting down.
How often do you go out sketching?
Well, in the summer, quite a bit. I try to do at least 100 sketches over the summer because I get 2 sketch pads, say 60 pages or 30 pages. But it just depends on the weather. But this when it's not too wet and rainy, otherwise I get some painting. But the trouble is,
good.
The trouble is, it's been really wet and miserable weather. Changed all books. I'm not like Monet, who stood out in the snow painting the magpie and everything. I sort of like like the Impressionist, but I should be more like that. But I'm not that tough to stand outside in the cold.
No.
So I feel a bit bad about that.
And here's your drawing pad, A4.
Yeah.
And you say these take about an hour each?
Well, what happened was, I don't know if they're these. Can I just check? There might be these ones. Yeah. No, I don't think. No, these are probably ones that I actually did on the spot. Yeah. But I do know what I did under lockdown because... No, I think these are the ones... Yeah, have a look at these.
How many of these pads have you got?
Quite a few, yeah.
Wow.
I've got quite a lot of them. Yeah, because under lockdown I couldn't really go out sketching in the park, so what I did is I put a load of sketches together and just did my own pictures out of them. So this was all throughout lockdown.
Yeah, it says lockdown.
Yeah, lockdown landscapes, that's what I did. I called them that. Yeah, so there we are. And I was partly doing it because we had that online exhibition stuck at, so of the cats. So they're all taken from my other sketches and then just put them together, lockdown landscapes.
Can I take these outside? Because I don't think this is the right light for them.
Yeah, take them outside.
Shall we do the...
Yeah,
shall we carry this...
outside, as long as it's not raining. Is it raining?
It's fine. Yeah, let's go outside.
Okay.
It's a bit windy.
Well, if you come next to here, then maybe they might be better. I'm not sure. Well, I'll hold them.
When did you start this sketchbook?
Well, this was last September. This was September 24.
Right.
But it's an old diary, so even though it's got 22 on it, it's actually 24. But
So all this lot, you started it September 24.
October 24, just going into the October.
And when did you finish it?
Around mid-October 24. 'Cause,
You know, you need an assistant to come around and scan all this.
yeah, I do. Put it in there. So these are lockdown landscapes. I did all these under lockdown because it was so. And I just put them together from old sketches, other sketchbooks, because I couldn't really go out sketching so much.
These are all done indoors.
Yeah, indoors. So they're not looking out, they're not drawn.
So what was lockdown like for you?
I just used the time to get on with loads of painting. I quite, I quite like having the time to paint. So.
Were you living on your own?
Well, I had my friend coming round, so yeah. So, and it went on to the Stuckats, the exhibition at the time. And this is all going to blow away. So
Yeah, let's see.
can we go inside?
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to go inside. Yeah, take them inside and draw them there.
Too windy. Oh.
Yeah, so if you want to look at these, back to these.
Oh, I think we've got. I mean, we got the point with those. I think.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to say in your interview, Emma? What's your anecdote?
Anecdote, I have to say. Well, it's that, I couldn't go out drawing, so I put loads of pictures together from sketchbooks and things that I'd done. And I think it's, I really, because I was talking to my dad about living in London, and I said one of the wonderful things about London is that there's parks everywhere, and not just like Hyde Park and St James Park and the Waterloo Park and Hampstead Heath, but every corner you turn there's a little green space, and I think that's quite amazing. I really like the Capital Ring railway line, walking around the capital. That's 60 miles, and that's terrific, So there's so many natural spaces that need preserving. I try and make people. I think these are very precious spaces that need preserving. So.
Do you feel by painting them you're preserving them?
I think so, yeah, I think a bit. It's just my way of sort of, that's what they mean to me, sort of thing. I mean, I could, you go out to London and there's this guy, he's a very good painter, but he was, all the touristy, Trafalgar Square, the places that people like to see, but living in London, I like painting all the little sort of spaces that people don't think that much about, the like sort of flats and quite ordinary spaces with the greenery, but I think that greenery needs preserving. And when I went to the Tate, I saw an exhibition where they had an empty flats tower block, and that was in Croydon, I think, and I think they are quite very evocative spaces. I like those sort of empty sort of spaces, especially when nature comes back into them. And I think some of them are very beautiful spaces, and they need preserving. So, it's patches for nature, corridors for nature. Yeah.
Then a lot of your paintings aren't just what you're looking at. You do your scenes.
Yeah, scenes, and I use them for scenes as well. And I do that. Yeah.
Almost like a futuristic.
Yeah, they are a bit futuristic, some of them as well. Yeah, I think, so I think the green belt is quite important as well, I think, to preserve it. So I think urban sprawl, something, but I mean, I really like, there's empty flats and things, they're really lovely, and the garden's allowed to grow over. I think they're lovely spaces, yeah.
It's nature's fight back against man, would you say?
Well, it's reclaiming it. It's just it comes back again. They're almost like these shipwrecks at the bottom of the sea where they kept covered in coals again, and nature reclaims them. I think was quite evocative and romantic. Yeah. Well, I like to sort of challenge the notions of the romantic landscape. So it's either the urban, which is touristy, we go to Trafalgar Square, we go to the landmarks in London when there's all these lovely green spaces, or else it's the completely untouched wilderness where it's, you know, the Himalayas or some some place for the tourist again to go, or the Highlands of Scotland, and they're considered beautiful, wild, romantic places. But I like the urban nature and the empty flats, and they can be very romantic and evocative in my view as well. So, yeah.
Kate's coming.
Kate's on its way.
Put it back in there.
I've got a special dish, you see. I want to show it off. Yeah, it's a lovely glass dish, isn't it? Yeah. Do you like one?
Oh, is it sugary?
Might be a little bit.
Yeah, I'll leave it, thanks.
Yes, it's a really nice dish that I got from Oxfam, so I'll just show you.
Oh wow, yeah, they're proper
glass.
cupcakes.
Yeah, do you want one?
No thanks, but they're really good ones.
They're nice, yeah.
So what were we saying? I wasn't recording earlier, and as soon as we start recording, we all start talking.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about the young person's gallery. Yeah, I've also got some. Do you want some sweets?
No, thank you.
Okay, just bringing out the dish again. But when I went to the young person's gallery in Cambridge, they had a lot of photorealist work.
No thanks.
Ice cream with this type of stuff, cakes and ice cream and stuff. So.
You put on a good private view, Emma.
Yeah, yeah.
Shame there's no paintings though.
I've done the private view, now we need just the painting. Yeah.
I went camping once and I left my tent at home.
You left your tent?
I left my tent at home. I had to sleep in a car.
So what did you do? Did you buy a new one?
No, I slept in the car.
Yeah. With you.
No, thank you.
Are you sure? Because I'm not going to eat them all. I am going to eat them all, but I just thought.
It takes a lot of discipline to throw food away.
It does, yeah.
But sometimes
really
it's better than eating it.
They will last, but I mean, it's just so I'm not going to eat them all.
Seems shameful to do, but
yeah.
So Thailand, I'm thinking out in the sticks, having an art studio. Do you ever feel like travelling out to Thailand?
Well, if I have the money, I might do that. But you've got quite a nice art studio where you are, and you've got an exhibition space with it.
Yeah. No, I think my exhibitions are now in public on the street.
Yeah. Well,
They say you get more right wing as you get older. I feel I'm becoming less stuckist as I get older.
Really? Yeah.
Well, all this thing about exhibiting in musty museums and homes and stuff. And what's the point?
Yeah.
You just take them outside, and people walk past. If they like them, they stop. If they don't like them, they walk on.
Well, maybe when you clear just space, I'll have another show around yours, and I can bring these along and get some plastic. And I'll try the one that's Milton Arts, the allotment sales, but if not, I'll come to yours and put them in plastic envelopes, and I might sell them for £5 or £10 each, and then maybe you could get Charles and Amy to come along and see if they'd like to buy any. Or we could do it, yeah. So I'll definitely try and sell some of these.
£5-10 each?
Yeah, £5-10 each in plastic covers, sort of thing.
I know, a bargain.
That would be a bargain, wouldn't it? Yeah, they might like to have a whole pile of them for sale. Yeah, I'll sell these down. I'll probably have to sign them as well.
You can sign the backs if you don't
Yeah.
want to sign the front.
I'll sign the backs, yeah.
I can never make my mind up about signing on the front.
No, I think it was...
Some paintings it does look better to have a signature on it,
Yeah.
but most of the time with mine, it's better not to.
I signed the back. I signed the backs of them, yeah.
I sold a painting once to somebody in Brighton and they said it's not signed. I said it's signed on the back. So as far as they're concerned, if it's not signed on the front, it's not signed.
Oh, well,
I know.
it's a bit daft, isn't it, really?
Well, it's like you buy a car
Yeah,
and then you complain about the shade of grey that the gear stick is.
yeah.
I mean, do you like the painting or not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what you feel like saying to them.
Maybe they think it's a bit more... If it's signed on the back, anyone could have signed it, you know, but if it's signed on the front, then it's a bit more authentic, but I don't really see it like that.
I don't know how their minds work.
I don't know.
And for whose benefit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if they sell it, it's signed.
I don't know.
I mean, do they just like staring at signatures as a weird fetish?
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. Yeah. Now this was really letting the paint run. This is straightforward using watercolour paint and just, you know, letting it run along and dry up quickly and blotch up. I'll see what effects I get. Yeah, so they're very jumpy landscapes.
Speaking of jumpy,
Yeah.
I haven't done any in so long.
Yeah. Well, you've gone to painting figuratively again now, haven't you?
Well, jumpy are figurative. It's just they become figurative after I've made them.
Yeah.
Well, no, they are. Sorry, I realise they're figurative after I've made them.
Yeah.
I think my subconscious paints them,
Yes.
and I just sort of watch them.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just putting them all together.
If you could use a computer and you
Yeah.
wanted to sell these, you could do an Etsy shop.
An Etsy shop, yeah.
I would suggest signing the backs, not the fronts.
Yeah, I do this articles on the backs, yeah.
Just in pencils. Because I wouldn't.
So these are all put together from sketchbook drawings, so that's the thing, yeah.
Where are sketchbook drawings?
They've all been my sketchbooks and different sketchbooks over the years. I just went through them and put them together and called them lockdown landscapes. Yeah.
Is it possible to see the drawings?
Yeah, I'll try and get some of them out.
I'll flick through these while you're getting them out.
Yeah. thing I do. Yeah, here's some.
So good, Emma.
Thanks.
How long do these take?
Oh, these are about an hour to half an hour each. These are just drawing outside. These are more sketches, drawings, paintings in there. These are all the...
Are you sure these take that long?
about an hour. Well, I think...
They're brilliant.
I've done loads over the years, so...
And for these, are you sat in front of what you're...
Yes, I am. These
Right.
ones are all sat in front of it. They're out in the parks. Yeah, here's
I
another,
see.
here's another lot.
Oh, right.
Yeah. They're all...
Oh, Emma, these are so good.
Thanks. I mean, I put them together to make the paintings. So when I was doing all these lockdown landscapes, I was just doing what I would be doing, sitting in front of stuff and painting it, but in the summer. But I couldn't really go out in lockdown, so...
How many of these books have you got?
Oh, about 10 of these types of books.
And what time period does that cover?
Oh, from since I moved here 2005. Yeah, 20 years really, during the summer months. So I'm doing my next lot for this year. But I try to do about 100 every summer, you know, of different parts. Yeah, the parks and the trees. Some of the trees I've done quite
You know,
a few
it's...
times. Yeah.
Someone should scan all these.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. And some of them I took out and made into cards to sell, but it was along the outpost before it went under, so yeah.
And how much did you sell those for?
They were about £2.20, £2.50 each, but yeah, they're cards.
With original, these original drawings on?
Yeah, listen,
Did they sell well?
one or two, a few sold, you know.
Unbelievable.
A few sold, yeah.
If you had taken a photo of a chimpanzee wearing sunglasses,
Yeah,
you'd have sold 100.
Yeah, and the thing is also is that I also did some oil pastel sketches which were larger. They were more this size, and I was selling those for about £10 each. Some of those were selling at Outpost too, but when I sat outside with the oil pastels kept melting in my hands, and they're not, you know, if it's really hot, the oil pastels will melt in your hands. They're a bit unpredictable to use when you're sitting out drawing outdoors. I think I'm a bit of a was because I don't go out in the freezing cold. You know, I'm very like Monet with the magpie on it. I looked at that and I thought,
Do you not go out, or do you just not draw?
I go, I substitute draw and paint. I do all my painting in the winter indoors, and
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Monet was stand out in the
I
freezing
can't.
cold.
No, I can't do any of that.
And once I was drawing in the Isle of Wight on the beach, and this huge wave came and drenched me, you know, and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, and it starts to rain, but it's been a bit unpredictable, the weather. So, it's a bit bad, but I wait till the summer and I'm a bit of a was like that. I should be out in all weathers, but I'm not up to it.
Emma, these are so good.
I like my home comforts too much, yeah.
If I was moderately well off, I'd just buy the whole lot off you.
Yeah,
Just sit down flicking through them.
yeah.
I mean, there isn't a bad one. You know what I mean? They're all good. I mean, look at this.
They're uncoloured pencils.
That's the thing about artists. You get artists who everything they do is good, or artists who everything they do is bad.
Yeah,
There's no in between.
Like that, yeah. But as I said, these ones are much splashy. These are coloured pencils, more precise, and these are much splashier. These are more more jumpy landscapes. These are watercolour, and letting the paint run a bit, and you know, and I quite like the fact. I mean, that isn't a good painting. I mean, but I quite like the sort of effects it gives off. So, I mean, that one's on sort of I was using the brush and it went right through the paper. So.
Did it?
Yeah, look. Let's see, can you see it just went right through the paper? Sometimes the paper tears, but
Is that torn?
yeah, it's look. There's a hole in it. You see, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
They're up there.
Yeah. So, yeah. I like the traces and the shadow, the outlines it gives. So I quite like that effect where the sun is. Yeah, I quite like that effect. It's the outlines and the traces of the trees. So when I started, then obviously I got, the paints are running out by the end, so but you get some quite nice effects and letting the shadows run.
Have you seen that version of Frida Kahlo's diaries that they made?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yours remind me.
a bit, but yeah, it's constantly drawing. Yeah.
I prefer yours though. I think with you, Ron and me,
Yeah, we should.
really making, I mean that's all Black Ivory is really.
Yeah.
There is such a gap in the market.
Yeah.
It's an open goal in the market really, it's not a gap.
Yeah.
We've just got to do it. Well, by do it, I mean present it.
Yeah.
Ron's doing a talk of his film footage he took in London.
Yeah. And that's it. He's doing that. And where is he doing the talk? Do you know? Is it his place or?
He'll be around as we go somewhere, I imagine.
Yeah.
But I took so many tips from Ron on Camden. I mean, Camden wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for Ron.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's quite inspirational the way he just does stuff. He just opens his home and then he just I'm having an exhibition and he's got a real sort of DIY. I mean, there was some artists who giving out free art was like a form of performance art for him. For them or just doing free performances or doing performances but that was very performance based. But giving out free pictures is this sort of like going over into traditional painting, crossing over performance art really. So yeah.
Worth giving away free pictures because you want to give away free pictures rather than make a. Like giving away free pictures isn't a tool for another job. It is just is what it is.
The other thing is that Basquiat and Keith Haring, to some extent, I think they once they started getting into the gallery system, and a lot of people said that they didn't do so. They might have made a lot of money, but they didn't. They sort of bit spoiled by it. Really, they didn't.
The gallery system
sort of cheap enough and
insists.
spits you out a bit,
Well, it's all voluntary. I mean, you can always say no as an artist, but the galleries, and I don't know how they work, but it's clear that it's their way or the highway.
Yeah, and
fair enough. They're a business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're there to make money, but it's I think some people just make art whether it makes money or not. They will just make art, and that's the main thing. That's the thing. Primitive and so-called primitive and naive artists. People just will just draw and make art, whether it sells or not. And I was watching a program on Grandma Moses in America. Quite a famous folk art, did wonderful landscapes, and she was a grandmother. They called her Grandma Moses, but it was only because Hallmark got hold of her pictures, and they made quite a popular calendar out of it that she became quite well known, famous as the naive painter. But yeah, up to then, she was just drawing and painting anyway. Yeah, a naive artist. Yeah.
I think the opportunity to do something historic has to be outside the contemporary galleries. It's like if you go to a gallery, so I always think, what would it be like if I was represented by a gallery? Well, no gallery would work with me, for one.
Yeah.
I know that because, well, they wouldn't have me on Camden give my work away for nothing.
No.
They wouldn't have me.
Oh no, they'd be very careful and controlled.
Oh yeah.
Where you could show your pictures, how many you might have in the vaults, and what would be released at what point in time when the market, where they'd be very controlling of what you. Yeah, so it is quite an affront.
They'd be controlling of everything I say as well.
Yes, what press release, and it's quite an affront to them just to hand out free work.
And like everything, that. Whatever you publish, they'll be on your back.
Yeah,
it's sterile.
Yeah,
there's no way they would put up with any of us.
The thing is that also handing out free work like that is, I mean, a lot of these performance and they started doing those performance art precisely because they wanted it to be transient. They didn't want to have a finished product to sort of confront. They wanted to get away from the art objects so people wouldn't, buy and sell it.
The way I see it, that's still centric of the art world.
Yes.
Because
what happens is
it's like Stuckism in a way.
It's like, I mean, the singing statues with Gilbert and George. I mean, originally they did that. They did a performance because it would be transient. You can't take an art object from a performance artwork, but you can't take something and put it in a bag and take it home with you.
I still see that as a cop-out because I still think they're concerning themselves with things that are irrelevant.
Well, the thing is
it's like rebelling. Why rebel against something that's not worth rebelling against?
We've got the original photos of Gilbert and George performing the singing statues for £600 each, so they become the art collector's item. They become the object for sale. It doesn't really work. They will find some way to make an art object out of it, and now you pay, you will pay a ridiculous amount of money for an ordinary object because it's in a gallery or whatever. One way or the other, they will make an art object out of it, and sell it. So it doesn't matter whether it's a painting or a conceptual artwork or anything. It doesn't make any difference. So you might as well hand out free art. In fact, it's a challenge in the front, and it is challenging,
I wouldn't bother challenging the art world. I wouldn't bother rebelling against it.
Yeah.
I think as soon as you're anti something, you're flattering. Not only you're flattering it, but you're making yourself a moon of them.
Exactly. You're making. They're the star.
And you become guilty. I think this is the thing. You become guilty, like Oscar Wilde said. All criticism, you don't have to scratch too beneath the surface of any criticism to see how autobiographical it all is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all one giant time-wasting exercise.
Yeah, I mean, I just completely ignore that and just get on with your own stuff and sell stuff on Etsy and hand sell stuff. I don't, that's nice. Free art, free art. That's good. Yeah. I mean, it's just that. If you spend time sort of defying or being criticising, then that's just the star you orbit around all the time, and that's not really just anything to do with it really. But yeah.
Well, I think once you cut yourself off from all of that, the world's your oyster.
It is, yeah. Once you stop worrying about it, then it can be just doing all this.
Yeah, stuff. I'm in a way. I don't like this sort of rebellion thing. Yeah. I think it's just another way of getting entrenched in it all. Mm. There's so much opportunity. You've got people who like art, and you've got people who can make it.
Yeah.
All you've got to do is put one in front of the other.
Exactly.
And if you can do that, which you can, and this idea where you have to go through any channel that nowadays with the internet isn't at your fingertips anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's all an illusion.
And the other thing is that I sort of don't get happy about is the idea of reproducing a painting or something, because the word illustrative is used in quite a denigrative way. It's not fine art, it's illustration. But a print, mass reproducing an image is fine for me. I like that. I'm not worried about it. It's got to be the original. I mean, looking at the Jura exhibition and the prints there, obviously they're highly expensive, items now. But I mean, the fact they were mass reproduced was fine. Doesn't have to always be the original painting. Yeah. I wouldn't want to sell any of these.
No, don't worry about it.
My original sketchbooks, I wouldn't want to sell these.
No, I don't.
So much, but I mean, they're keeping them together. But these ones, perhaps.
Which are the ones you were selling at Outpost for £2 each?
They were from another sketchbook that I made cards. I took them out of the sketchbook.
Is there anything special about that sketchbook?
Well, I did it in the end, but I wasn't too happy about doing it. I didn't.
Did they ask you to do it?
Well, I just think I had to have something to sell, and I wanted to sell original stuff. So I did end up taking out my sketchbook and making cards out of the pictures, and they were quite nice. But I just thought, as cards, I kind of want to keep my sketchbooks together. If I do something like this, making pictures from the different, then I could put those in plastic envelopes. And the other ones I did was a sketchbook that sort of formed the part anyway, and they were the oil pastel pictures around the area. But
so is it that the pages are stuck together that you see value in keeping them stuck together?
In a way, if I can, because I mean the only thing is that this other one where I did, they were that size and it kind of formed the part anyway, and I put them all together in a file anyway, because I thought, well, you might they're all loose, so you might as well have them. Yeah, in a way, yeah.
So if that sketchbook were all loose pieces of paper, would you have a problem with selling them?
Well, if they were shoved in a sort of plastic folder somewhere, and I found them at the back of somewhere, and I was at the bottom of the drawer, and I thought, I forget what are these from, and then maybe I wouldn't. But if they're all together and they're nice, then I kind of say, well, then I remember that summer I was walking along, and I do remember doing these in one after another, and there's a sort of continuity in them. So I sort of want to keep them together then.
I understand that. Yeah. I think.
Yeah. There is a sort of, walking along the railway. That's all from the railway line.
Well, if there's a significance in all that, then you're destroying it by breaking it up, aren't you?
Well, and also I can take, because these pictures, these ones I used for another painting, the owl paintings. Yeah, so there was one of the owl on the ledge, and it's coming up to Finsbury Park. And I was going to call it Heath Ledger or something. I don't know. But I just thought that I just used them from here, so in that one as well. So yeah. So I just and these, so they were all together, and I could put them all together for and the ones that I've done recently, they've come from a sketchbook where some paintings have been together, and I can put them together that way. So
if anyone from the Arts Council is watching, and you want to do something with your money, get us an assistant to scan all Emma's drawings.
Yeah, but these ones I put together from the sketchbook, so they're all loose and they're all in plastic folders, so I wouldn't mind putting lockdown landscapes, putting them in plastic, because they're in a plastic folder and selling them. So if we had to show around yours, we could
Well, don't let any of these go before I've tried to find some time to scan them.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Well, perhaps I'll bring them over next Thursday, shall I?
Well, let's see, because I'm a bit busy at the moment, but one day. Are all of these around London?
Yeah, they're all based on sketches from the going up the railway line, that sort of area in London.
If I flick through like this, people can press pause.
Yeah, that's it. They want, yeah.
We might as well talk while I'm doing this. Can't think of anything to say.
Yeah. So around the local parks, and I did loads of sketches, and I couldn't go out sketching under lockdown, so I just put them together with golden lockdown landscapes. And then we had the stuck cats. We had a online exhibition, so I had the cat walking along the railway.
Yeah, those online exhibitions, I never really understood what an online exhibition is compared to a website.
Yeah, I mean, much the same thing.
I know.
But,
It's like a contradiction in terms.
Online, yeah, well.
Especially for Stuckies. I mean, what's all that stuff in the Stuckies Manifesto about?
Yeah, it has to be enjoying cups of tea. And, yeah, I think there's something in that. I like the idea. An exhibition being a social event and having sort of, even though it's expensive, to put on all the wine and the food and everything. And also,
see, that's the problem with it, in my opinion. I think that this is why I keep going back to this going out on the street.
Yeah, again,
that we have the right to protest in this country.
And go out on the street.
What is an exhibition if it's not a protest?
Well, to some extent, yeah. But even though it's probably a lot cheaper to actually do the online shows, yeah, everything's done by Skype. Yeah.
But it's not an exhibition, is it?
It's not the same thing as seeing the actual.
It's like Ron showed me these people in America who reckon they're doing free art, you know, like this thing where they leave free art around.
Yeah.
But they're not. They're printing out copies of the art.
Yeah.
They're just flipping fly tipping flyers.
Yeah.
And they're making out like they're distributing free art.
Well, not really. No.
They need to grow a pair. Stick a painting on the pavement. Let someone take it home.
Yeah, I have seen. When I went up on the railway line, I saw some paintings stuck on the railway line near the station. Yeah, there wasn't anything to say though for sale or anything. They were just there. Yeah. I suppose it's like graffitis. You see a lot of it, you know, it's the street art sort of. It's coming from that street art sort of aesthetic, isn't it? And it's coming from that street art outlook. Flower paintings, because I think flowers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, at this point I think I was working on the cat pictures that I did. Yeah, this was the final cat picture.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there's a bit they needed to do some more cat pictures.
So, do you dislike painting people?
No, not really. I mean, I'm not very good at portraiture though. That's one thing I'm not going to be. I mean, some are real portraitists, aren't they? Some artists are just Hockney's quite a good portraitist, but I can't do portraits very well. No, full landscapes.
So, is that the only reason why you don't paint people? You don't feel you're very good at it?
Yeah, I'm not that good at drawing people. I like putting them in landscapes more. I'm more of an environmental. I'd like to think of them as more of an environmental artist myself. So, yeah, yeah.
Do you?
I mean, if I go to the mall galleries and I don't go to the portrait. I used to, but I can't. If I'm a bit short of funds and I can't afford to go to the mall, then I'll go to the NEAC or more landscapes, and I won't go to the portrait exhibition. I'll go to the maritime shows and things like that. So, yeah.
So, what were you like as a child?
Yeah, I don't know. I used to like doing cartoon dogs and things like that when I was a kid. I remember doing those. Yeah, I always like animals, though. I still do. I always like nature and animals. So I had lots of dinosaurs. I've still got some old childhood books of dinosaurs I work from. Yeah, How and Why Wonder Book, that sort of thing.